Every researcher has his own way of writing research articles. The ways cannot be taught, or practices cannot be just put upon a person. It comes from within. The writing, the process of it comes from within. But there are certain best practices which, if implemented, really can bring justice to the paper, or it may improve the quality of the research article. Now, here are some of the research steps which can be, or the steps which can be outlined for writing an effective research article. And these are also some of the basics which can be said to be very important. However, again, the point is that a person's own research journey, and therefore may not be said to be in a particular way. However, these are some of the best practices which I have outlined here. So the first one is determine the authors. Now, why I'm saying so? Uh, Generally, if one of you are writing the research paper, it's fine. There is no need to determine any author. However, if you're working for a project, a research project, which is a funded project, as I was talking about in the last presentation, uh, if it is a research-based project, and lot of people are concerned about it, a lot of people are involved in it. Say, for example, it's a lab-based research project. Why I'm saying lab-based research project in management discipline? Because nowadays the emphasis is on experimental research again. Coming back to this again. So if I talk about the authors, there can be multiple authors, and there can be multiple researchers working on a given project. So it must be decided in the beginning itself that who are going to be the authors for this work, and also it must be decided the number of the research authors who are there. So uh, so who is going to be the first author, who is going to be the corresponding author, and such other details need to be determined at this stage before you start working on them. It is also important because there can be problems about authorship or the position of authors in a given research article. This can come at a later stage. There are many cases which have been discussed on the Committee of Publication Ethics, COPE guidelines. So I just wanted to bring that into here. So this should be the first step. Number two is initiating the writing while experimenting or while working on the data analysis or anything which comes up in between. So it's important that you start writing while you're experimenting, because there can be certain uh, impact based observations which can be written at that stage and maybe say later forgotten. So it's better to initiate the writing while we are experimenting. While we write down things while experimenting, there are a lot of other ideas also which are generated while writing things. So you may want to go for some kind of controls while experimenting while you are writing. So it's important here that you start the writing work in the right earnest. The third one is to decide to publish, and you decide to publish when you feel that you have made a major contribution to the research literature or literature of that particular domain, and this is the time when we can start to publish this work. So it is important that you decide that, and this decision should be on the basis of collaboration. So if you are doing a collaborative work, then everyone else whosoever is in the picture should come forward and decide that yes, this is the time now to publish, because we have got ample things to actually work upon. The fourth thing which should be looked upon is publication ethics. I was just talking about when I said determining the authors, but publication ethics is not just about the authorship. The publication ethics entails a lot of different things that uh, right from the very beginning, if I say, if you're given a project, it has to be approved by the institution in which you're working. if there are animals involved, or if there are, because we can also go for the behavior of animals and other things, if there are animals involved, if there are human subjects involved, then what kind of precautions one researcher should take. So for example, if I just talk about a survey which is being done, it is important that the person concerned, the respondents, know that their record is being taken for a research works. Therefore, consent of the person concerned is very, very important. However, in some qualitative researches, when you are observing participants from a distance, whether or not to ask such things, so the confidentiality, at least, that the person who is there as a subject, the confidentiality and anonymity should be maintained, and all the stages of the research which is being done. This is one part of it, publication ethics. So I just want to summarize here the publication ethics. One needs to take consent from the person concerned. If consent cannot be taken, then that should be clearly mentioned in the document which is presented to the institutional committee who recommends this research. So a researcher needs to be very careful about the subjects on whom you're experimenting. Uh, Publication ethics can be also on what kind of data you are using. Has that data been published before? Has that data been published before by you? And you're making superficial changes? Uh, it's very clear that data fabrication and falsification do occur, but that should be minimized, not minimized, it should be eradicated completely. You should look for new data which can give meaning to the research. Publication ethics also talks about data redundancy, which means that something which is coming up again and again, or data duplication, which means that you have just taken the same data and you are doing the research in a different way. You can also add some data points, which is called data aggregation. So these are some of the things which one should avoid. The most important aspect definitely is plagiarism. While you are actually submitting a research article, you will see that any research journal today talks about that we follow the COP guidelines. COP is, as I said, a Committee on Publication Ethics, and plagiarism is strictly banned, and it is not tolerated. For example, what plagiarism is, it means that you're writing somebody else's work without even giving attribution to the person, without giving the credit to the person. So that means you are in that case cheating, and that needs to be stopped. So these are some of the things which are there in publication ethics. So that needs to be taken care of. The next step is to draft a working title. Now, generally, abstract and the title is written at the end. But why I'm not talking here at this stage? Because a working title can be helpful to the researcher in acknowledging what has already been done, and that can be and why I'm saying a working title, because it can be changed at a later point in time. So that should be done. Determine the basic format. There are different formats for a research article. The format also depends on which journal you are actually submitting your paper. So therefore it is important that the format is clear right from the very beginning.